Good, happy Thursday morning, September 24, 2020. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Thursday morning, so let's begin. First up, let's begin with COVID-19 updates. There are 25 COVID-19 cases reported in New Hampshire, with no new deaths in 8 days. Total current hospitalization reaches highest point since August. Health officials in New Hampshire said Wednesday there were 25 new positive cases of COVID-19 in the state and 1 new hospitalization, but there have been no deaths attributed to the coronavirus in more than a week. And now let's take a look at your COVID-19 in New Hampshire important information and latest data. And here is a look at that information for all of you in latest data. There are 8,007 number of people in New Hampshire have tested positive for COVID-19. 6,939,645 number of people in the United States have tested positive. 438 number of people from COVID-19 who died in New Hampshire. 728 number of people who have been hospitalized with COVID-19 in New Hampshire. And 861 number of deaths from COVID-19 in the United States. And let's take a look at this map of New Hampshire where current cases of COVID-19 are. Manchester, 33. Let's take a look at this map of New Hampshire where total cases of COVID-19 are. Manchester, 2031. And now let's take a look at these 3 charts here. Let's start with the first chart here, new cases each day in New Hampshire, and the purple daily new positive COVID-19 cases. In the orange, new hospitalizations, and in the red, other deaths. Let's take a look at this chart here, current cases. In the purple, total current COVID-19 cases, and in the orange, current hospitalizations. And let's take a look at this chart here, total cases. In the purple, total positive COVID-19 cases. In the orange, total hospitalizations. Red, deaths, and blue, recovered. And let's take a look at this chart here, age group of cases, female and male of cases, and risk information. Let's take a look at this chart here, infections, hospitalizations, and deaths. And let's take a look at this chart here, deaths, percent of New Hampshire population, race/ethnicity of cases, and hospitalizations. And a reminder, your common symptoms: fever, lack of smell, cough, difficult breathing, chills, nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. How it spreads, and prevention tips. And be sure to stay with the Riley King Network for the latest of your COVID-19 information. Body found in northern New Hampshire believed to be missing Keene man. Investigators call man's death suspicious. Let's take a listen to that video from WR News 9, Siobhan Lopez.
May be canceled. But Mainly Tubs' huge annual fair sale is back and bigger than ever, with hundreds of hot tubs in stock and on their way.
A body found in northern New Hampshire is now believed to be 25-year-old Jonathan Amirault, who was reported missing from Keene on Monday. The discovery was made Tuesday in an unincorporated area of Coos County known as Atkinson and Gilmanton Academy Grant, more than 200 miles from Amirault's home.
The location of the grant, it is not a place that is anywhere near Keene. And so we have had a great deal of geographic diversity in this investigation, and I think that's going to continue.
Amirault was reported missing when he did not show up for work, but his family hadn't heard from him since Saturday.
Specifically, we are hoping that people who may have had any sort of contact with him or knew his whereabouts from Saturday, the 19th on, should go ahead and contact the New Hampshire State Police Major Crime Unit.
A description of Amirault's vehicle was released during the search. It is unclear if that has been found by investigators.
I can't say specifically about what was nearby. Most of that particular area does happen to be woods. There's some hunting areas, fishing areas.
The Attorney General's office says state and local authorities are working together using a number of investigative methods.
The old methods are still sometimes some of the most productive. And in this case, it's been a combination of old and new that were able to lead us to where we think we found him.
The AG's office says there does not appear to be any kind of threat to the general public, though they have not said why. An autopsy is scheduled for tomorrow morning. Reporting live, Siobhan Lopez, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. FEMA reverses course won't reimburse schools for PPE expenses. New Hampshire schools districts left scrambling to cover thousands of dollars in purchases. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Amy Cavino.
Of hot tubs in stock and on their...
Very frustrating.
Deborah Payne is in charge of business operations in the Salem School District, who suddenly has a budget crisis on her hands, on top of everything else.
We're just making some decisions in terms of our purchases for this school year. We're also trying to find other sources that might be available for funding, and hopeful that at some point perhaps FEMA will change their course and fulfill what we had expected.
That doesn't seem likely. FEMA released a policy clarifying what's eligible under the Public Assistance Program for COVID disaster aid, telling News 9 in a statement, FEMA is not authorized to support the day-to-day operations and operational expenses of facilities.
Done a lot of quick adjustments and replanning and reorganizing.
Superintendent Scott LaLiberty calls it a sizable, unanticipated financial curveball. Londonderry was counting on $300,000 in federal reimbursements.
It can be kind of disheartening, particularly under these conditions.
School district officials have applied to the governor's Gopher Relief Fund, hoping to make up the shortfall. They're waiting for an answer. In Salem, Amy Cavino, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Retail group concerned about update to Nashua mask ordinance. Concerns raised that workers could find it tough to enforce rules. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Andy Hirschberger.
Hey, Paul here, owner of Century Roofing. I personally wish to thank the thousands of our customers for supporting our team. At Century, our team continues to grow.
By a 13-2 vote, the Nashua Board of Aldermen approved an amendment to the city's COVID-19 mask policy that says retail businesses must post face-covering required signs at their entrances and deny service to anyone who is not wearing a mask.
It's a recipe for disaster.
Nancy Kyle of the New Hampshire Retail Association represents 700 businesses, large and small, across the state. She sent a letter to the aldermen urging them not to pass this measure, saying it's setting business owners and their employees up for a conflict.
That's really hard. I mean, you've got some younger teenage kids that are working at retail, and to ask them to enforce this is pretty difficult.
But supporters of the ordinance say it's like no shoes, no shirt, no service, saying that regulation was enacted for health reasons, just like the mask requirement.
We are not asking store employees nor managers to get in arguments or fights with patrons. They simply point out to the patron that just entered, that they passed a sign saying that they should not come into their establishment and cannot be served without wearing a mask.
But Kyle's concerned that any conflict this rule creates could put businesses, their employees, and other customers in harm's way.
And this is a precedent in New Hampshire. This is the first city to do something along these lines, and it's not a good sign.
Kyle says that she will urge the aldermen to reconsider their position. Reporting live, I'm Andy Hirschberger, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Black Lives Matter. Manchester reacts to decision in Breonna Taylor case. Co-founder said they were disappointed, not surprised. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Gene Mackin.
The fairs may be canceled, but Mainly Tub's huge annual fair sale is back and bigger than ever, with hundreds of hot tubs in stock.
Disappointed, but unfortunately not surprised. I think it was just a reminder that the system was never built to work for us in the first place, and unfortunately, Breonna Taylor didn't get the justice that she deserved.
The co-founder of Black Lives Matter Manchester says the grand jury decision out of Louisville shows America needs to keep pushing for change. The Kentucky Attorney General says his office did not find criminal negligence by 3 police officers who entered Breonna Taylor's apartment at night last March during an investigation into her ex-boyfriend. The man she was dating at the time, a licensed gun owner, says he fired a warning shot at the door because he did not hear police announce they were entering. Prosecutors say officers were returning fire when Taylor, a 26-year-old EMT, was shot and killed while sleeping in bed.
The facts have been examined, and a grand jury comprised of our peers and fellow citizens has made a decision. Justice is not often easy.
The decision not to charge the officers in Breonna Taylor's shooting death has sparked renewed protests and calls for racial justice.
People in New Hampshire should care about Breonna Taylor's case, not only because she was an American, but because New Hampshire is not innocent, and we are no means exempt from the issues that happen all across the nation, and we could easily become the next hashtag.
And the Black Lives Matter organization is planning several events in person and virtually over the next few weeks. Live in the newsroom, Gene Mackin, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And that does it for this morning edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Thank you for watching this morning edition. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you back here later on today for another newscast. I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Goodbye, everyone.